me, everybody. Really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's been a long day as it is already. I will take my time. I really do believe that as human beings that the principles that we have in life and our values really are defined by the experiences that we have in life. So my journey is really important to share with you because it is who I am. I was raised in San Francisco. I was raised in the Heart and the Mission District. My parents met on 24th Street in the early 1960s. My mom was a waitress at a restaurant called El Farolito, and my dad worked for the Sunset Scavenger Company, and he'd have lunch there every day for a year to get to know my mom a little better. And that's how things came about. I'm a product of San Francisco schools. Went to Cesar Chavez before it was called that. Went to Visitation Valley Middle School. Went to Woodrow Wilson High School. I'm also a graduate of City College, where I got my degree and went on to go to Mel's College. My sister in the room over there. Early on, my mom raised me on her own. My mom and dad separated, and she raised me as a domestic worker. She cleaned other people's houses, and she took care of their kids, and really sacrificed her dreams to make a better life for me. And I learned firsthand what it was like to really have a family struggle to make ends meet. When I was 8 years old, things got a little bit too tough, and we had to move into Holly Courts housing projects. That's in Bernal Heights, over by Holly Park. And I had a pretty good youth during that time, you know, but also watching my mom struggle to make ends meet. So that really defines my lens as I'm running for a district that's really struggling to make sure that all families, working families, can stay in San Francisco. And that life experience defined my journey and the work that I did for the first 12 years of my career. I have 12 years of community-based experience, primarily working on economic justice for families. I ran the eviction defense clinic for legal aid for 6 years. It was one of my first jobs. I worked on public benefits issues. I actually advocated for moms and families to get to work through the AFDC program. I advocated for them on food stamp issues, on Medicare, Medi-Cal, and I also did a lot of advocacy work for seniors, for SSI advocacy to get them benefits. I went on to work for Bridge Housing to run the social services out of their housing units. They're one of the largest builders of affordable housing in the state at this point, and I ran services for families that were formerly homeless, HOPA units, people that were suffering of AIDS, and middle-income families that were hoping to one day own a home. I worked for Catholic Charities, also running the Season of Sharing program that actually kept families from being evicted if they had hard times. Wow, time flies. Well, in 2008, I had the privilege, while I was being a community organizer, to be asked by Tom Amiano to be his district director. And since then, I've gained 10 years of policy experience. I worked on the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights, which is close to my heart because it gives women that are domestic workers basic labor protection. I worked on the campaign to save City College when it was being threatened to take accreditation, and no other elected official except Tom Amiano would take a stand. I worked to defend Healthy San Francisco when the mayor's administration was trying to take that away from our communities. I worked on SETS Law, California's anti-bullying bill that protects our kids from being bullied. And currently in my job as district director, as a political director for SEIU, I've led the effort to give $15 to every Californian. The governor just signed that bill, and every Californian will have a minimum wage. I'm running for supervisor in District 11 because I care deeply about the communities that are being affected. I have my roots in District 11. I went to school in that district. I had my first fight and my first kiss in District 11 as a youth. I know what it's like to struggle in that community. I have a family of my own. I have a 4-year-old child that I want one day to be able to afford to live here. I believe the housing crisis is a crisis that we need to address. I want to advocate to make sure that our elders, our people of color, our LGBT communities, and our families can continue to live here. And I'm committed to making sure that the resources that District 11 needs, being the highest working class district in the city, kind of the last bastion, highest homeowner rate, highest labor percentages of the folks that live in District 11. have never for decades gotten a lot of the resources that they deserve. And I do say that comes all the way from the top in the administration. Our current supervisor has done a great job at advocating for some of the needs that we need. We need to continue to do that, and I'll be committed to doing that as supervisor because I've walked in those shoes. I know what it's like to try to survive. Not just, and I don't want our communities to just survive, I want them to thrive.